What's up, everyone? Tara Roberts here with FantasyPros, bringing you my top 10 waiver wire ads for Week 8. But before we get started, if you want a chance to win a signed CeeDee Lamb Dallas Cowboys jersey courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video, and that's it. We will be announcing the winner right here on the channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Now let's go ahead and dive right in. Number 10, Daniel Jones. If you're looking for a streaming quarterback in Week 8, how about Danny Dimes coming off a huge performance against Jacksonville? 19 completions for 202 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 11 carries for 107 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. Jones has a decent floor with his rushing upside, and in a good matchup against Seattle, who is genuinely unable to stop the run, Jones could have another 100-yard game on the ground. It doesn't take much through the air to create high upside opportunities when you are a running quarterback. Daniel Jones is absolutely a threat on the ground. Just 1 passing touchdown and a solid day on the ground, and you're looking at a 20-plus fantasy point performance again. Number 9, Zay Jones. Next week will be ugly for the Jags facing a tough Denver defense. I would not expect the same level of targets that the Jags receivers had across the board, with Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball 43 times. But rostering Zay Jones is more of a long-term play. After Denver, the Jags' opponents include Las Vegas, Kansas City, Baltimore, Detroit, and Tennessee. That's a bunch of very pass-friendly games. Jones caught 4 of 10 targets for 54 yards. That's honestly not bad against a Giants team that hasn't allowed a single team to score over 30 points on them this season. Better days are ahead for Trevor Lawrence, and Jones will be a flex option. Number 8, Paris Campbell. I won't lie, I have been a big proponent of picking up Alec Pierce off waivers. He is a surging rookie who has definitely been catching the eye of Matt Ryan. I still like Pierce and I'm not dropping him, but we can't ignore what Paris Campbell is doing. Despite the return of Jonathan Taylor, the Colts continued to push high pass volume, and the result was Paris Campbell somehow one-upping his Week 6 performance. In Week 6, Campbell caught 7 of 11 targets for 57 yards and a touchdown. This week, Campbell caught 10 of 12 targets for 70 yards and a touchdown. The potential has been there for Campbell, but he's never really lived up to the hype, as he's never played more than half a season. And the Colts are a high-volume pass team. Prior to Week 7, Matt Ryan was actually 2nd in pass yards and 3rd in pass attempts. If Paris Campbell can stay healthy, it's worth a shot to add him and see if this volume can continue. Number 7, Latavius Murray. We were told Melvin Gordon would start for the Broncos, and while that was kind of true, the bigger takeaway here is that this will continue to be a split backfield. And it's a split backfield on a team that has really been struggling with the pass. And Mike Boone suffered an injury in Sunday's game, so the committee could just be Gordon and Murray. The upcoming schedule for the Broncos is one where they will likely lean on the run, especially with Russell Wilson dealing with injuries. Murray had 8 carries for 24 yards, but was able to find the end zone for 1 touchdown. He's worth a roster. Number 6, Josh Reynolds. Reynolds' Week 7 performance was ugly, with only 1 reception on 2 targets for 8 yards. But remember, Reynolds was dealing with an injury all week long and didn't practice until Friday in a limited session. So I was a bit surprised to see he was even active. His lack of production is likely due to health, and I would expect that, if healthy, he will return to a larger role next week against Miami. And this is significant because Amon-Ra St. Brown went down with a concussion, and over the past several weeks, we've seen more players sitting out 1 week following a concussion. Reynolds could play a major role because prior to Sunday, Reynolds had 19 receptions on 28 targets with an average of 90 yards in his past 3 games. Number 5, Joshua Palmer. Josh Palmer was not active this week due to a concussion, but the Chargers have a bye week, and he should be ready for Week 9. And he could have the opportunity to repeat his strong Week 6 performance because Mike Williams suffered an injury on Sunday. And while we don't know the severity of the injury, we know that the Chargers have been very cautious with their star receivers. That leaves the door wide open for Palmer to step into another major role and be a solid flex option if Williams misses extended time. Number 4, Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson is continuing his push within the Giants receiving corps and had 6 receptions on 8 targets for 50 yards. Robinson was reportedly limping at one point during the game, but there are not any significant reports around any injuries, so there doesn't appear to be any concern. Robinson was on my waiver wire list last week because it seemed very likely that as the season progresses, he'd be able to work his way into being the wide receiver 1 of the Giants. The Giants play Seattle, which should be a good flex opportunity for Robinson before their bye week. But aside from a couple of tough matchups against Philadelphia and Dallas, the Giants' schedule is very pass-friendly. Robinson's back half of the season has significant upside. Number 3, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard is the lowest rostered Panthers running back. And that made sense because when Hubbard filled in for Christian McCaffrey last season, he was extremely average with limited upside. On contrast, DAndre Foreman had multiple 100-yard games in Tennessee with Derrick Henry out. Both Foreman and Hubbard were used frequently in Sunday's game, both had high yards per carry, and both were utilized in the pass game. This will likely remain a split backfield, but both running backs are worth a roster because the quarterback situation is very unreliable. Hubbard is behind Foreman because he left Sunday's game with an ankle injury, and at the time of filming of this video, we don't know the severity of the injury. Number 2, DAndre Foreman. DAndre Foreman had 15 carries for 118 yards and 2 receptions for 27 yards. That's not unusual for him. Foreman had 3 games last season with over 100 yards for Tennessee and has come on very strong after dealing with injuries early in his career. The start of Sunday's game was odd, with Foreman receiving the first carry of the game only to have Hubbard lead the next 2 Panthers drives before Foreman saw significant work. As previously mentioned, both running backs looked fantastic, so this should remain a split backfield. But with Hubbard suffering an ankle injury, if Foreman is available on waivers, you need to pick him up because the offense is going to continue to push run heavy, making Foreman very worthy of a roster. Number 1, Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards' roster percentage was a bit shocking to me because the news of J.K. Dobbins going on IR should have triggered fantasy managers to pick up Edwards. In his first game back from a torn ACL, Edwards had 16 carries, a torn ACL, and 2 touchdowns. Drake was involved with 11 carries, but wildly unsuccessful with only 5 yards on the ground. Edwards' usage was definitely a surprise considering Dobbins only saw 7 carries for 23 yards in his first game back. If Edwards continues this level of work, he would be a major boost to fantasy teams with 2 upcoming games against the Buccaneers and the Saints, who have typically been strong against the run but have been reeling recently. Edwards must be rostered in all formats and all league sizes. Thanks for watching this video. And remember, if you want a chance to win a signed CeeDee Lamb Dallas Cowboys jersey courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video and that's it. We'll be announcing the winner right here on the channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize.
Thanks for tuning in to the FantasyPros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at FantasyPros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.